Everybody thinks they already know the answer to this one. They think it's so obvious it isn't even worth asking. She's younger, you're older, you come from a richer country, so the whole thing must be about the money, the dollars, the visa, the plane ticket out. That's what your friends whisper the second you leave the room, isn't it? That's what the comment section screams. That's the look on your own brother's face when you show him the photo. And here's the thing, my friend. They are wrong. Not a little wrong, not half wrong. Completely, totally wrong. Because I have watched hundreds of these stories play out from the inside, the ones that crash and burn in 6 months, and the ones that are still holding hands after 30 years. And I am telling you, hand on my heart, the money is almost never the real reason. The real reason is something you are already carrying right now, this very second, and almost no man realizes he even has it. So stay with me because by the end of this, I am going to put the real answer right in your hands. And once you see it, you will never look at any of this the same way again. Hi, I'm Marian. I'm a Filipina. I'm in my late 30s. And on this channel, I tell foreign men the honest truth about Filipinas, the truth that nobody else will say to your face because they're too polite or too busy selling you something. Today, we are taking the biggest myth of them all and we're pulling it apart piece by piece until you finally understand what is really going on in the heart of a woman who chooses a man like you. If you enjoy watching my videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a video in the future. Thanks. Now, come a little closer. Because the first thing I have to tell you is the one thing your buddies back home absolutely do not want to hear. Let me start with the money, since that's the elephant standing right in the middle of the room. I'm not going to insult you and pretend money has nothing to do with anything. I don't lie to you on this channel. That's not what I'm here for. Of course, security matters. Of course, a woman who has watched her family go without wants to know that the man she gives her precious years to is steady and can help build a home that doesn't fall apart. That's not greed, my friend. That is every woman in every country since the beginning of time. A woman in New York wants that. A woman in London wants that. A woman in Sydney wants that. And nobody calls her a gold digger for it, do they? But here's the part they get completely wrong, and honestly, it's the whole game. If money were the real reason, the actual engine underneath the whole thing, then the good ones would leave you the second a richer man walked past. And they don't. I have seen women turn down men with far, far fatter wallets just to stay with a retired gentleman on a modest pension, living in a small house, driving a car that's older than she is. Now you explain that to me with money. You can't. Nobody can. So the money is real, yes, but it is not the reason. It's the floor. It is not the fire. I want you to hold on to that phrase, the floor, not the fire, because I am going to come back to it before we're done, and it's going to make everything click into place. So if it's not the money, then what on earth is it? Let me give it to you straight, and then I'll show you exactly how each piece works, one at a time, until the whole picture is clear. The first real reason is safety. And no, I don't mean money safety. I mean the feeling deep down in the body, in the nervous system, in a place words barely reach of being with a man who is calm. Let me paint you a picture of what a lot of Filipinas grew up around because if you don't understand this, you will never truly understand her. Picture a young girl in a small house, and the man in that house is unpredictable. Some nights he's laughing, he's the life of the room, everybody's happy. Some nights he's had far too much to drink, and the whole house goes quiet and tense. Everyone reading his face, everyone tiptoeing, everyone waiting to see which version of him showed up tonight. Maybe there's jealousy, maybe there's shouting, Maybe there's a man who vanishes for days and strolls back in like nothing ever happened, and no one dares ask where he was. That little girl grows up with her shoulders permanently up around her ears. She becomes an expert, a genuine expert at reading a man's mood before he even opens his mouth. And then, years and years later, she meets a man from your part of the world, older, settled, and he doesn't fly off the handle. He doesn't play hot and cold. He says what he means, he does what he says, and when she's with him, her shoulders come down, maybe for the first time in her entire life. Do you understand what that is worth to a woman? There is no peso amount you could put on it. A calm man is like water to a woman who spent her whole life thirsty. And you, my friend, at your age, with all your years behind you, you are calm. You've already lived through the storms that make younger men crazy. That steadiness you think of as boring, to her, it's the most attractive thing in the world. She has been waiting her whole life to exhale, and you're the man she can finally exhale around. Now, here's the part nobody warns you about. You probably think your calm is nothing special. You think, I'm just an ordinary, steady fellow. What's the big deal about that? And that right there is exactly why it works so well. You're not performing it, you're not putting it on to impress her. It's just who you've quietly become over a whole lifetime. And she can feel the difference. Believe me, the difference between a man acting calm to win her over and a man who is simply, genuinely, bone deep at peace with himself. Trust me on this one. She can sense that from clear across a crowded room before you've even said hello. The second real reason, and this one is enormous, is that you actually see her. Let me tell you exactly what I mean by that. A lot of the men she dealt with when she was younger treated her like she was interchangeable, like she was just one of many, like she should be grateful for whatever scraps of attention came her way, and like her feelings were an inconvenience to be tolerated. She got the mind games. She got the 3 days of cold silence after a wonderful date with no explanation. She got the man who wanted everything from her and offered nothing back. She got the one who kept her a secret from his friends and his family. She spent years, real years, being treated like she was easy to replace, and then here you come. And maybe you're not even trying to be smooth, but you ask her questions, and then you actually listen to the answers. You remember the little thing she mentioned last week that she didn't think you'd even heard. You look at her when she talks, like what she's saying genuinely matters to you. And here's what most men never understand. To a woman who has felt overlooked her entire life, being truly seen is more intoxicating than being desired. Think about that. Any man can desire her. That's cheap. That's easy. But almost no man actually sees her. So when you really do, you are handing her something she may have been starving for since she was a teenage girl. Let me tell you about a message I got once, and I'm keeping it general because I would never put a real person on blast. But a man wrote to me, absolutely baffled, almost worried. He said, Marian, I don't understand it. I'm just an ordinary man. I'm not rich. I'm not handsome anymore, if I ever was. And this wonderful woman lights up when she sees me, and I keep waiting for the catch. And I wrote back and I said, my friend, the catch is that you treat her like a whole human being with a heart, and she has met so painfully few men who do that, that to her, you are extraordinary. That's the entire secret. You raised the bar just by being decent, because the bar had been sitting flat on the floor her whole life. The third real reason is maturity. And this is where your age stops being the thing you apologize for and turns into your single biggest weapon. Younger men, and I say this with love, because most of them will grow out of it in time. Younger men are often still busy figuring out who they even are. They're chasing status. They're chasing the next shiny thing, the next thrill, the next conquest. They don't fully know what they want, so they keep one foot permanently out the door just in case something better wanders by. And a woman feels that she feels a man who isn't sure of her, and it is exhausting. It's like trying to build a house on wet sand. Now, here's you. You've lived. You've made your mistakes, and you've learned from them, which is the whole point of mistakes. You know exactly what you want, and just as important, maybe more important, you know exactly what you don't want anymore. You are done with the games. You're not trying to impress a crowd. When you decide you want a woman, you tell her plainly, like a grown man, no riddles, no keeping her guessing. Do you have any idea how rare that is? Do you have any idea how attractive that is? A man who knows his own mind is like solid ground under her feet. She can finally stop bracing for impact and just build something real. And this is the very heart of my channel. This is especially true for the mature and older Filipinas. A woman who is herself past 45, she is completely thoroughly done with drama. She has no patience left for a boy walking around in a man's body. She wants a partner who's already whole, already finished cooking, and a man who has lived a full, long life speaks her language in a way a 25-year-old simply never could, no matter how pretty he is. You two have walked through the same kinds of seasons. You understand each other before a word is even said. Now stay right there with me because the next handful of reasons tie all of this together, and they're the ones that surprise men the most. But first, let me pause for just 1 second. Real quick, before I get into the rest, if Marian is making sense to you so far, do me one small favor and tap that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. It really helps me keep making these videos just for you, and it makes sure you never miss the next one. Okay, come closer now, because this next part is the one most men get completely wrong. The fourth real reason is presence. Not presence, presence. Being there. Here's something about a lot of you older gentlemen that you don't even realize is a genuine superpower. You value your time completely differently now. When you were younger, maybe you were married to your career, always chasing, always distracted, half listening to whoever was sitting right in front of you while your mind was already on the next deal, the next problem, the next thing to conquer. But now you know just how short life really is. You've buried people you love. You've watched whole years disappear like smoke. So when you sit down with her, you actually sit with her. You're not glued to your phone. You're not itching to rush off and be with the boys. You're not scrolling through nonsense while she's pouring her heart out to you. You are present. And a woman would trade almost anything on this earth for a man who is truly, fully present. The younger men she knew were so often somewhere else, even when they were sitting right beside her. You, at this stage of your life, have finally learned the rare art of simply being with another person. That's a gift you're handing her every single day. And the beautiful part is, you don't even know you're doing it. Let me connect that straight to you, right where you're sitting. You might be there thinking your best years are already behind you, thinking the young studs have all the advantages, all the cards. Wrong. Dead wrong. The young studs are distracted, restless, and haven't the faintest idea what they actually want. You are focused, you are settled, and you know exactly what you want. In this arena, that is not a disadvantage. That, my friend, is a royal flush. The fifth real reason is that you're ready to build something real. and you're not going anywhere. Let me explain why that matters so much. A lot of the men she knew treated love like it was temporary. Like she was a stop along the way, not the destination. Always keeping their options open, always one text message away from being gone. And she could feel the impermanence of it, like standing on ice in spring, never quite trusting the ground. Now here you come, a man who is done wandering. You're not looking to sow wild oats. You've already lived that chapter, and you closed the book on it a long time ago. What you want now is a home, a partner, a person to share your mornings and your evenings with, something that lasts. And when a woman senses that you actually mean to stay, that you're not going to bolt the moment things get real, that you're building a life and not just passing the time, something in her lets go. She can finally plan. She can finally dream out loud without feeling foolish. She can pour herself into something without terror that it'll be gone by autumn. That kind of steadiness of intention is rarer and more precious than any young man's good looks, and she knows it in her bones. The sixth real reason, and please do not skip past this one because so many foreign men do, and it costs them everything, is that you respect her family. In the Philippines, family is not a side dish, family is the whole table. Her parents, her brothers and sisters, her aunties, her little nieces and nephews, the grandmother in the corner, they are not separate from her. They are part of who she is, woven right through the middle of her. And a man who understands that, who embraces it instead of resenting it, who treats her mother with warmth and her father with respect, who is patient with the noise and the crowd and the endless Sunday gatherings, that man wins something a lucky few ever get. Because he's not just courting her. He's courting her whole world, and her whole world is watching. I have seen a good, decent, warm man walk into a Filipinas family and be loved like a son within a year. And I have seen a wealthier man treat her family like an inconvenience, like people to be tolerated, and slowly, quietly, that pushed her away, even when she couldn't quite explain to herself why. So, if you want the real thing, don't just love the woman, love where she comes from, respect the people who made her. Do that, and you'll have a loyalty that no amount of money could ever buy. The seventh real reason is appreciation. And this one cuts both ways. So, listen to me carefully here. A Filipina, especially a traditional one, tends to carry a warmth and a care for her partner that, in a lot of the modern Western world, has been laughed at or shamed or simply thrown in the bin. She wants to take care of her man. She finds real joy in it. She's proud of it. And back home, she may well have been with men who took every bit of that completely for granted, who expected it, who never once thanked her, who never gave a drop of it back. And then, one day, she meets a man from your culture who is genuinely amazed by it, who thanks her, who cherishes it, instead of exploiting it, who wants to turn right around and take care of her too. Do you see the beautiful trade happening there? She gives you a kind of devoted, tender care you may have forgotten even existed, and you give her the appreciation for it that she was denied her whole life. Two people, each one quietly starving for exactly what the other one happens to have too much of. That is not a transaction, my friend. That is two halves of a whole, finding each other across an entire ocean. But, and here comes me being blunt with you again, because I always am. That's why you're here. This only works if you truly appreciate her and don't slip lazily into treating her like hired help. I've watched it go wrong. I've seen the man who confuses her willingness to care for him with servitude, who stops saying thank you after a few months, who starts barking orders instead of asking kindly. And do you know what happens? That warm, devoted, glowing woman slowly goes cold. The light in her eyes just quietly goes out, like a lamp at the end of the night. Because she was never looking for a boss to serve. She was looking for a partner who treasured what she brought to the table. So treasure it, and she will love you like you have never once been loved in your entire life. Take it for granted, and you will lose the single best thing that ever walked through your door. And that, my friend, is a choice you make fresh every single day. The eighth real reason is that you make her feel like a woman, and I mean cherished, protected, chosen, put first above everyone and everything. There is a certain kind of man, very often, the older gentleman, the one raised in a gentler, more deliberate era, who still opens the door for her, who still walks on the outside of the pavement without even thinking about it, who still treats a woman with a little bit of old fashioned gallantry. And in some corners of the world these days, they'll sneer and tell you all that is outdated, that it's silly, that it belongs in a museum. She does not think it's outdated. She thinks it's heaven on earth to be adored openly, without shame, to be protected, to be treated like something precious and rare instead of something owed and expected. A great many women have never once had that, not for a single day of their lives. And when you give it to her freely, without keeping a running tally, without expecting a reward, you become the man she simply cannot imagine living the rest of her life without. Not because of what's in your wallet, because of the way you make her feel about herself when she's standing there right next to you. You make her feel like the most valuable woman in the room. And a woman never forgets the man who does that. And here's the ninth one: quieter but just as strong loyalty, and how it runs both ways. Give a good Filipina a man who is genuinely faithful, genuinely devoted, a man whose eyes and heart don't wander, and you will get back a loyalty so fierce it might frighten you. She will have your back against the whole world. She will defend you when you're not in the room. She will stand beside you through the hard seasons that scatter weaker women. But, and this matters, that loyalty is a mirror. It reflects what you give. Betray it, take it lightly, and it will not survive. Honor it, and it becomes the strongest thing in your life. A loyal woman is not something you buy. She is something you earn, and then keep earning gently every day you're together. Now, let me tie the loop. I opened way back at the very beginning because I made you a promise, and I keep my promises. Remember, I told you the real reason is something you're already carrying in your chest right now? Here it is. It's the ability to make her feel safe and seen and cherished. That's it. That's the whole thing when you boil off everything else. Safety when she spent her life braced for chaos. Being truly seen when she spent her life being overlooked and being cherished. When she spent her life feeling like an afterthought. Money can't buy those three. It never could. A younger, richer, better looking man who cannot provide those three things will lose every single time to an ordinary older man who can. And the reason the whole world keeps insisting it's about the money is simply that money is the easy story. It's the lazy story. It lets people avoid a far more uncomfortable truth that a lot of men in a lot of very rich countries, somewhere along the way, forgot how to make a woman feel safe and seen and cherished. And a lot of these Filipinas would rather cross the entire world to find a man who still remembers how than settle for a man right next door who never learned. But hold on, don't go anywhere just yet. I would be a liar and a bad friend if I stop right there and let you walk away thinking every single one of them is an angel and all you have to do is show up. So, let me be honest with you because honest is the whole reason this channel exists. Yes, there are women, a minority, but they are out there who really are only interested in what's sitting in your bank account. They exist in every country, in every city, in every dating pool on this planet, and the Philippines is no exception to that, none at all. And here's the cruel little irony of it. The man who believes his passport and his pension are enough all by themselves, that man is exactly the one who attracts those women. Think about it for a second. If you show up believing you don't actually have to be a good man, that you just have to be a Western man with a bit of money, then the good women, the ones who want safety and to be seen and to be cherished, they'll see straight through you and quietly walk away. And the only ones left standing there interested will be the ones who want precisely the thing you led with your money. You'll get exactly what you advertised every time. So, how do you tell the difference between them? Let me give you a few honest signs from someone who's watched this play out for years and years. First, watch what she does when you're not flashing any money around. Does she still want your time, your calls, your presence on an ordinary quiet day when nothing at all is being bought or spent? A woman who only lights up around spending and goes cold around simple togetherness is telling you something loud and clear, so believe her. Second, watch whether she wants you woven into her real, actual life, her family, her friends, her ordinary Tuesday afternoon, or whether she keeps you tucked away in a separate little box that only opens when there's something to be gained from it. Third, watch whether she gives and not just takes. Real love overflows outward. She'll want to do things for you, take care of you, give you her time and her attention too, not just hold out her hands and receive. And fourth, this is the big one. Watch how she treats people who can do absolutely nothing for her. The old lady next door, the tired kid selling snacks in the street, the waiter who got her order wrong. Because that, my friend, is who she truly is when there's nothing to perform for. And that is exactly who you'll be living with long, long after the honeymoon glow has faded away. Let me give you a little scenario to make all of this real and solid in your mind. Two men, both retired, both on a similar modest income, both meet a wonderful, warm Filipina. Now, the first man decides that he is the prize simply for being foreign. He's impatient. He doesn't really listen when she talks. He treats her care like it's something he's owed. He keeps a running score of who did what. And deep down, underneath it all, he quietly believes she should just be grateful to have him. The second man treats her like a queen. He listens like she's the most fascinating person he has ever met in his life. He thanks her for every small kindness. He stays calm. He stays present. He respects her family and he makes her feel completely safe. Same money, same age, same starting point, wildly, wildly different outcome. In a couple of years, the first man is bitter and alone, complaining loudly online that Filipinas are all just mercenary gold diggers, wondering why on earth it all fell apart on him. And the second man is the happiest he has ever been in his entire life, with a woman who would walk through fire for him without a second thought. And here's the thing you must understand, the difference between those two men, was not the money, and it was not luck. The difference was that one of them understood what I have just spent this whole video telling you, and the other one never bothered to learn. And let me say something directly to you now, because I have a feeling about the kind of man who watches all the way to this point. You're probably a good man who has been made to feel invisible. Maybe you gave your very best years to a job that didn't thank you, or to people who didn't appreciate you, and somewhere along the road, the world quietly decided that you were past it. Finished. Old news. And I want you to hear me clearly, because this is important. The very things the modern world told you make you obsolete: your age, your steadiness, your old fashioned way of treating a woman, your patience, your presence. Those are the exact things that make you a genuine treasure to the right Filipina. You were never obsolete, my friend. Not for 1 second. You were simply standing in the wrong room, in front of the wrong crowd, being judged by people who couldn't see your worth. Walk into the right room, be the good man you already are, deep down, and then just watch what happens. Now, don't misunderstand me and swing too far the other way either, because I'd never forgive myself. This is not me telling you to put any woman up on a pedestal and hand over your whole heart and your entire wallet to the very first sweet smile that finds you online. Keep your head on your shoulders. Take your time, plenty of it. Let her show you who she really is over months and months, not days. Be a good man, yes, absolutely, but be a good man with his eyes wide open. And here's the beautiful part: the right woman will respect you more for it, not less. Because a man with standards is a man worth having. A woman who genuinely wants the real thing is never ever scared off by a man who's careful and takes his time. Only the ones with something to hide get scared off by that. So, let your patience do the filtering for you. It's the smartest thing you can do. So, let me pull all of this together now and send you off with it, because I want it to stick with you long after this video ends. The real reason a Filipina wants an older Western man is not the money. The money is the floor. Remember, never the fire. The fire is that you can make her feel safe when she has spent her whole life braced for chaos. That you truly see her when she has spent her whole life being overlooked. That you're mature and you know your own mind when she's grown so tired of boys who don't. That you're truly present when she's used to men who were always somewhere else. That you're ready to stay and build something real when she's used to men with one foot out the door. That you respect where she comes from and who made her. That you cherish her warmth instead of exploiting it. And that you make her feel like a woman who is protected and chosen and adored. Give her those things freely and without keeping score, and you become worth more to her than any rich man alive on this earth. Fail to give them, and I promise you, all the money in the world will not save it. That is the truth. That is the part that nobody says out loud. And now, you know it too. Here's my little tease for you before you go. Next time, I'm going to tell you the biggest mistakes Western men make in those very first few weeks. The innocent little things you might do without even realizing it, that quietly push a wonderful woman away before anything real has even had the chance to begin. And some of them are going to genuinely surprise you. You are going to want to hear those before you make your move. Trust me. So don't wander off too far, alright? Before you go, if you got something out of this, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what I share next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.